Hey
Hey
guys.
guys, how's it going? Yeah, just gonna be getting on with the sculpts today, and yeah, I'll get into. Sorry, it'll be a yeah. God, I'm losing all my words. Sorry about the stream starting a bit late. It's only 17 minutes, but still. Um, I was testing out some interactive grooming. I kind of want to learn how to use the action interactive, so I was kind of doing that and got a bit carried away. Realized the time. But yes, so we'll be continuing on the mask just because we need to kind of break it up. It feels too smooth, obviously. So we need to kind of go in and really break it up and make it feel more interesting. I am going to have to get my reference up. Um, let's get your ref. There was a specific image I really liked. Also, I've got RTX voice turned on. I know that people prefer it with it off. I've just got it turned on just while Becca's in the shower, just so you don't hear the water and that sort of stuff in the background. I'll switch to regular microphone once she's out. I just find the shower noise is really distracting in the videos. So let's get this guy. Yeah, so it's something I kind of want to go for something vaguely like this. So we need to get this kind of large, ridged detail in there. So that's what we're going to try to do. Granted, this type of sculpting is completely out of my depth, so I'm not too worried if I can't pull it off. We'll just see how it goes, I guess. So let's get back into ZBrush. So I don't even know where to start, to be honest. So let's go to Alpha 6. So this guy, and let's turn on auto masking for backface masking, just so we're not pulling the inside out. And for now, I'll work symmetrically. I'll break symmetry in a moment. I just want to kind of see if this is the way to do it. In fact, what I need to do first is create a morph target. Geometry, deformation. No, what am I doing? Morph target. There we go. Morph target. Yeah, so I also need to use the damp standard and turn off the modifier, so we're not pinching it too much. There we go. Cool. So let's just see how well this works. What I'm thinking is general kind of. Oh, I've turned that off. Could probably do a layer while I'm at it, actually. That's recording. So what I'm thinking is sculpt the general kind of pits like this, follow the grain and wood, and I can strengthen them back up after the fact with the damp standard brush just to get the kind of connections where I want them. Even just something as basic as that, just completely break the surface. Let's just add a bit of. And I can break the symmetry after the fact. I just need to make sure I'm going down the right path, which I'm not sure that I'm doing. So let's use dynamic. Let's go to brush. Set you to automask as well. It'd be nice if the automasking was not per brush, or if there's like a preference you could change somewhere to make it, per scene rather than per brush. So let's turn that on and off. What color is this bird, but okay. What I'm going to do is use this mesh in Substance as well, just to get a few more of those details out. We can use this kind of do some curvature stuff and get some interesting shapes. So let's push you that way just to break the symmetry a bit. Let's try lowering that. Hello. Streaming. How are you? Shush.
But look at your little
Like she's trying to embarrass me. It's actually kind of impressive. No, leave me alone.
We're in a bush.
Leave me. No. Let's continue to sculpt with this set for one.
Let's bring some light into the room. Oh.
Rip. Did you move it over without plugging it in?
So it's not great for me.
What?
This is a disaster. It is dramatic. I moved our apartment around.
Yeah, the sofa's in a new place, and it actually makes a surprising amount of difference. Yes. Words.
But it just feels so much bigger. I'm still in shock. Maybe it must. The one thing I do wish was a bigger cupboard for, like, our feeding supplies.
Yeah.
It's like there's iron from here, but I have a fucking feeling that we bought it from the last, but I don't get it. They're like, oh, where is the iron board on the back?
I might give this a go and see how well it works, if it works. Well, let's bring down the layer. This is not as smooth anymore. So let's go to multi-map exporter, Already got, well, we don't need texture from polypaint. We don't really need this either because we're getting, we're going to be using the morph. So let's just go into export options, display sunk, and then where's switch morph target? Right, there it is. Cool. Create all maps. And these need to go to scenes, texturing, mask, texture exports, ZDisp. So I have no idea if that will work or not. Let's get Maya up and find out. Just drag you over to the other screen. Hey, dude. How's it going, man? We have an Oscar. No. Yeah, this is the render I was doing before I started the stream. Yeah, so as I said, I'm trying to learn interactive grooming at the moment. Yeah, so this is pretty bad groom, but it's literally just like I think 10 minutes. That's the point, though, right? Like the point of the project is to be uncomfortable.
Where's the little tiny hair ribbon though?
I haven't. Do you think I've had enough time to actually do any proper grooming? Maybe, but
It's not me.
but yeah. So it's super quick and hacky, just so I can start learning. But yeah, so we need to go into this guy. But yeah, like this character's for at Blue Zoo, the studio I work for now. There's like competitions. Well, not competitions. Kind of like just friendly, like, oh, let's all do a sculpt based on this. Based on, oh shit, what's the word? A theme, yeah, a theme. And so the theme for this one is, yeah, creepy. God, what's going on with me today? Yeah, the theme for this one is creepy. So I got this sculpt out last night. I spent about 3 hours, you think? About 2 or 3 hours, something like that. And then today I just thrown another 30 minutes on sculpting, and then just auto retoppoed it. Internal competition. Yeah, it's not really competition as
It's not a competition. Mike thinks it's.
No, I don't treat it as like a competition at all. It just gives me something to work for.
It's kind of cool because like a lot of people, people might people from different departments, for example, like lighting and stuff, and do like a model and like some on the group as well.
Yeah.
But people do take their own like I love it, and then like these men just like know what you're
High res into substance. So let's just save this scene, I guess. Oh, that would be the issue, right? Geometry. I'm just going to save this. Scenes, Maya, exports. My naming convention's already gone to shit. Like it's gone really bad. Z plugin. I don't need Z plugin. Well, I actually do need Z plugin. So let's just go delete lower, decimation master, decimate current, no, preprocess current. Oh, the audio cuts out? Oh, well, actually, something I need to do now is swap the microphone back over. It might be a little bit better now, because I was using RTX voice and turned it off just now. Cool, so that's done. Z plugin, decimate current. That's it done. Cool. export, group, smooth normals. Then we need mask, high res. Cool, and I need to sign into Steam to open the text string. So I'm gonna temporarily hide my screen. There it is. Just while I log in. It's got to mute my mic as well. Once it lets me type. It's probably going to bring me to my own Steam. Cool. All right, I'll be back in a sec, guys. Right, I'm back. Just launching Substance now. Give that a moment to do its thing. Have you ever had a successful fart on stream without anyone noticing? Not with RTX voice, not yet. I need to test that at some point. I feel like that's a really good scientific test. Rip a really fat one. Right, prop mask, substance files. Let's go to you. Cool. So we need to go to window. No, edit. Make mesh maps. Let's grab. Well, that's already going to be going to the right guy, but I don't care. And that should be everything fine. So let's bake selected textures. Yeah, there we go. We're getting something a bit better now. And we're going to need a curvature. So let's add a damage layer. So that will go about here. No, here. Fill layer. Let's fill that with just color. Set it to bright green just so we can see it. Cool. And then I'm just going to set this to go to, let's add a black mask. Add a generator to that mask. And we can just use, as a test, I'll use curvature. Make it a bit more contrasty. No, it's not working for me. Oh, blur is definitely not what I want. Cool. So now, in theory, in fact, let's try a different one. Let's try a. There is a damage one, right? There's metal edges, which is kind of cool, but I don't want that. I think there's a curvature control in there, so let's just lower the dirt level. In fact, no, that uses cavity, right? Yeah, so we need to change that to. Let's try metal edges. That feels a lot better. So now what we can do is go back to you even. But interesting, it seems that the audio cores are still somehow attached to GPU units. Yeah, not really sure what's going on, to be honest. There we go, feels a bit better. Let's export those back out. Export textures. They're all going to go to the right place. That's good. Export. Yeah, I want to test out new pipelines for this project. So, like, the whole point of these streams is to kind of get me to do stuff that I'm not used to, and I guess, you know, I mean, these aren't paid bits of work, so I can afford to fuck up. So I want to kind of the pipeline for this project. I want to do a lot of new shit. So that's why I want to do some basic rigging. I want to do some basic cloth sim. I'm using Arnold, which I've never used in a full project before, just for odd renders here or there. I want to use Extra Interactive, maybe. I'm not 100% set on that yet. I'm going to test it out on that other project just because that one's even less riding on it. And I want to use Substance just to see if I can ditch Mari for personal projects yet. Because Mari's still, like, I'm pretty sure Mari's still undisputed in the world of, like, VFX. So I don't think, you know, Substance is close to replacing it there. But for my projects, it's probably already good enough, to be honest. So let's update full scene. Also, that's crushed. Nice. Why though?
Would you mind like waiting for like 2 seconds and cracking my back?
What's sorry?
Can you crack my back?
Sure.
It's really
Give me a second. I think Maya's still dying. Task manager. Let me just kill Maya. Get it restarting.
I'm just gonna lie on the ground.
Oh, you need it like properly cracked.
Yeah. There's so
Alright.
much room. I'm actually lying on the ground.
Alright, so let's get Maya back open.
Hey,
What?
I can actually lie on the ground.
There's so
I
much
wanted to
room.
do yoga. I could do yoga.
But you don't want to do yoga.
No, I don't.
So let's. Nothing's actually changed in the scene, so I'm just going to open the actual scene. File open, modeling, Maya, scenes, and then just get this going. Close you now. Cool. Crack back his back quickly. Where is it?
Really sore right at the top.
At the top. There?
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Oh! I think that's it. Yeah, I
Cool.
think that's it.
You want to help her?
That's good.
He's gonna lie there for a bit. It's got the colour space issue again. Nope, I don't understand them. Is that a Wheato?
A Wheato.
Yeah, I was eating Wheatos earlier. Yeah, it was a Wheato. Right, okay, so colour space issues. It's not a render setting that I need to fix. Preferences, colour management. So all I need to do is switch this like to aces and then back. I should have updated the view transform, that would have been a bit quicker. Or just disabled colour management and brought it back. I should probably download like OCIO. So I really would do want to learn about colour space as well, and this would be a good project for it. Because this isn't true aces. Like this looks like it's rendering aces, but it's not. It's like some weird fucked up thing in between. So let's set that back to there. Although I might download OCIO. I probably have it actually, because I've got DaVinci Resolve, and that comes with OCIO profiles. So if I've got aces, that might be one way to set it up. While this updates, I'm just going to quickly go to toilet. Download what? OCIO. Open color.
Spy or Skyrim or something?
No, that's a custom one. Don't talk about that. No, OCIO is open color something. I think is it like input output or something. Basically, it's just a way of handling colors. This feels 2D saturated now. Turn off enable color matching. Turn it back on. Is that really how desaturated it was? But yeah, so basically it's there's something in CG called color gamuts. Well, it's not just CG; it's in all photography. Obviously, as a photographer, you'll be aware of Rec 709 and Adobe RGB, and how Adobe RGB actually has more information than sRGB on its own. Like it's a wider gamut. You can get colors in Adobe RGB that have to be converted to sRGB. And basically, when no, it's not only Maya. Any 2D image will use color spaces. It's a really helpful thing to learn about because you can get a lot from them. Also, this is a lot more interesting now. A lot more interesting. Let me just check if I have an OCIO. Because if so, I might just try to get one of those working. Because I'm not really feeling that working much today, to be honest. I'm doing the stream because I knew I could make some progress quite quick. I mean, this is already kind of working better for what I wanted. It roughens it up just enough for me to not really worry too much. But I would like to get the OCIO working. So let's just go to Software, Blackmagic Design, DaVinci Resolve, and then search this for OCIO. Yeah, there's an OCIO folder. Is there ACES folder? No, there's not an ACES folder. Let me search. Software. Yeah.
It's not a thingy one. It's the one by used for Sony, by the way.
Oh really?
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay.
That's what they use in like a Batman.
Oh, okay. Okay, there's no download. Okay, so I think what I'll do is like off stream I'll look for ACES OCIO.
That's the full name. It's Bianum OCIO.
Open Color IO.
What's the difference then between it and like ACES?
I would need to research. I'd need to research that specific one.
Ooh, it was used on Spider-Verse.
What, the Sky one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spy. Yeah, it's Bianum. That's what makes it laugh because I'm like, Spy.
Yeah, I mean, generally, color. Like, I'm not a color like. I can't remember what the correct term is. Color scientist or something. I'm not one of those. I'm just a regular 3D artist. I know about them, but I don't know truly how they work. I know that they're just referencing a table that kind of like converts your values.
I have a comparison here between the two.
What you'll find is if you was to compare ACES to sRGB, let me just get an image to show you that, because I guess I'm happy just to discuss shit, to be honest. ACES versus sRGB. So ultimately, the thing to be aware of is that your monitor is sRGB. Unless you got a really fancy monitor, in which case it might be a larger one, but they are very expensive. Vast majority of the world uses sRGB monitors. So your final output, no matter what you're rendering with, is still going to be sRGB. The interesting side of it is that you can render in one color space and then convert at the end, like flatten the image down. And what that lets you do is it's rendering with more potential values. So it's like when you've got a camera, have you heard of dynamic range?
Yes.
In cameras? Okay, so it's like the number of exposures you can see that are correctly exposed, right?
Right.
That's what it is. So if you've got a really poor dynamic range and you take a photo in this room, for example, so our room at the moment is quite dark, there's a few lights here or there. Either you'd expose for the lamp and everything would be black, or you'd expose for our faces and everything would be bright white, right? Just that would be if you have a very low gamut, if you're rendering just in sRGB. ACES basically means more stuff can be in exposure. So the simplest image to show that is there's a Blender. Blender actually does it like out of the box with the Filmic color space, which the Filmic is just ACES basically. And the Blender Guru did a really cool video on it. And basically, it's this. So the left one is sRGB. This is what, like, both of these renders are in the same scene. Granted, this isn't a perfect color pipeline. He's literally just turned on aces.
Yeah.
But what this gets is, you see how, you know, like the bit here in the table's blowing out, like it's pure white. There's no information. The shadows are super deep, whereas aces, there's information in the shadows. It's not overexposed.
Yeah.
It is clipping a little bit, but not much. But basically, when you switch to aces, you can brighten your lights, and that means you get more bounce, which means you get glowier images.
Yes.
Like, this is an oversimplification because, again, I'm not one of the guys who fully understands this stuff, but that's basically what color space can do. Color space is not a magic button. You can make beautiful images with sRGB, but aces will generally feel more realistic because it's a wider gamut. It's closer to what the human eyes can see. In fact, I'm fairly sure that aces actually extends past what humans can see in blue, but it doesn't go far enough in green or something like that. Like, it doesn't perfectly cover human vision. I can get an image up that will show that, and then I'm going to get back to work. Aces color space. I guess aces, not hey Siri, Jesus. Yeah, so this is basically what color spaces are. So this is like all colors. Again, I'm going to oversimplify this stuff because I'd be lying if I said I understood it. Shut up, Siri. Yeah, I'm going to put it in airplane mode. But yeah, so Rec 709 is close enough to sRGB. Like, there's a very subtle difference between them as far as I'm aware. But basically, Ace's color space is this really giant one, and this actually covers all visible colors. So this is the whole visible spectrum for human eyes, obviously not counting value, so we're just talking hue and relative brightnesses, I think. And this is a 2D image, but in real, like, internally it's actually a 3D shape to actually have the values as well. So Aces covers actually more than human gamut, which is kind of, you know, not overly helpful. Aces AP1, that's Aces CG. That's the one that's actually used, just because true Aces is a lot more intense. I don't know why it's more intense. Just, you've got more values to play with, so I guess that just makes it internally harder to read. Aces CG is the one that Maya natively has, and allows you to render with a much larger gamut. Because if you now look at this this smaller triangle versus the Aces triangle, there's so much less information in this, which means less can be exposed at the same time. That's a very basic rundown of what this stuff is. And again, a lot of the terms I use probably aren't correct because I am like brand fucking new to this stuff. Well, I was introduced to it years ago, but I haven't researched it.
I haven't had the need to, like, had the need.
Well, I've never had to, yeah. I want to. I do want to learn a lot more depth about how this stuff works. So if you use Adobe RGB, you're likely to see color on your monitor that couldn't be printed for a long time. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess another issue with printing is it's in CKMY or something. Becca will know a lot about this stuff because her dad runs.
My dad taught me shit about color space more than my uni degree did.
Yeah, her dad runs, or used to run. He's now he's a big shot in printing, basically. Like he knows what he's doing, and obviously color spaces are naturally a part of that. But yeah, so color spaces are really cool. But as Oscar says in the chat, like Adobe RGB. I don't know if Adobe RGB. I'm pretty sure Adobe RGB is smaller than Aces by quite a long way, but it's pretty large. Adobe RGB is larger than sRGB. I know that much. The monitors that I'm running at the moment, I think 99% Adobe RGB, which, you know, they're not color grading monitors. I wouldn't say they're good enough for that. The black values on my monitor aren't truly black. There's a bit of a glow around white, so I can't get true black on my monitor. But in terms of coverage, like, it does cover quite a lot. But yeah, but the monitors I'm using are BenQ PD2500Us. So it's like their lower end of production monitors. I was debating getting a much nicer one, but I realised I'm not colorist. I don't do loads of stuff in that. Anyway, I need to decide what I'm doing. So we've got a basic mask. Let's perspective. Let's close you. So I need to decide what I'm going to do. I feel like I could probably start texturing the box. That's an easy enough thing to do, right? So let's grab everything in that box group and just start blocking that out. And let's check the UVs on this guy. So I am going to need to separate that out, aren't I? Let's just go to, is it edit? Nope. Modify, flip. And then grab both of these two because there's another set of UVs just there. These ones are so annoying. Mapping, best plane. No. Convert to faces. Contain faces. Mapping. Best plane. Best plane not there anymore. So mapping is in here somewhere. That's map border. So strictly speaking, I'm not too worried about the way these guys turn out. I don't like it when they do that though. It's not ideal. Let's just isolate this guy. CMYK. Oh, is it CMYK? Panels, UV editor.
Gotta cool down.
Let's just do mapping as best plane, I guess. No. Mapping camera based. Oh yeah, because I need to convert it to faces, contain faces. Nope. Mapping. Cool. And then let's just grab. Come on. That's super weird. Faces to contain faces. Mapping. Camera based. These ones are doing great. Right, so let's see if these will unfold. So how will straighten shell work with you? That worked shockingly well actually, alright. Why not with you though? Why do you have to be so funny? Let's align vertical. Why do you have to be so fucked up? Also, the amount of polygon edges on there is really quite horrible. Straighten shell. Oh, now you're playing nice. So let's go layout. Cool. Is this in smooth mode? No. Why is it so slow? Oh, you were doing the same as well. Oh god, I hate this. Okay. On their triangles too. Do I need to fix the overlap? Do I care enough? I should care, shouldn't I? And for these I don't need to care, because you won't see them. They're on the inside of the box, I think. Or they're on the outside. Don't tell me they're on the outside. They're on the outside. Fuck. Okay. So let's just grab you. Grab these two. Grab these two. Modify, flip. To faces, to contain faces, to mapping, to camera-based mapping. Good enough for me. Okay, maybe I should lay those out. Two UVs, layout. Unfolding. Why is it unfolding every time? Did it have history on it that whole time? So these I don't care about. I just want them to not be overlapping, basically. And then let's scale all this down to fit in here. I guess now we can scale all this back up and just put those top pieces up here. So let's grab all of it. You. We need to keep them the same size, so I'm not gonna, scale them to fake that stuff. But that's good enough for me. Box group. Looks like it's all working. Good. Just save the scene. Cool. We don't have a high res of this guy, so we'll be baking with the low res. Let's just close that. Right. So temporarily I'm going to give all of these the same shader. Lambert. Cool. File, export selection. We need to go into texturing, prop box. And what did I name my other files? So this is files, texture exports, and that's where the geo goes in there. So prop box, new folder. Cool. And this is where prop box geo goes. Cool. So let's reopen the scene. Go on, let's just quickly check the UVs. Yep, they're good. Alright, cool. Go back to my classic. Get into substance. Save this. Save and saving. Swear substance saves so quick, can't even. Yeah, okay, that is saving. New project. Let's go 4K as always because it's easier to down res. I know that it has like a stupidly good up res, but I don't want to use that. I prefer to down res, work at high res and down res if I need to. At least for these projects. Again, like performance isn't a major concern. We got that. Use UV tiles where possible. Cool. So we're going to need 3 different material types. That's all the metal there. So let's just start the way we always start and create some smart materials, or grab some smart materials just to get it blocked out. Wood. And we've already used wood ship, so I don't want to use that. That one's kind of cool though. Wood chest stylized could be interesting. These are for the smart materials. I could always use regular materials too. There's not a huge amount of choice there, but smart materials. Smart materials. Wood. So I'm gonna go with chest stylized. I can always pull back the aspects that stylize it. Although that is pretty low quality, not gonna lie. Let's just rotate it. So that's base color, fibers. Was 90 not enough to oh, were they already going the right way? I just didn't notice. Interesting. Sharpen, grunge, wood fibers 2. So you need rotating as well. That's a fill layer, so we need to go into the mask. Cool. Does feel a bit too stylized though, doesn't it? Let's see what else there is. We could always combine it with something else. Let's try wood ship, just because that is already being used in the scene. So if we mix the two, it'll look different enough. We'll find out. I should probably make my mesh map, shouldn't I? Because I don't have any right now. Edit, make mesh maps. Use low resolution as high res. Let's go with 4K. Don't need anti-aliasing on this guy. And pixel textures. I'm hoping it bakes in UV space, because then we won't get too many errors where the meshes are close to each other. Cool. So let's show you. Feels a bit better. Or do you have experience before? I've used Substance professionally a few times. I use it a lot more now, but I did use it a few times at NPC, so. But I did have to kind of get back up to speed for it, like, recently. So, let's get to masking this. Well, actually, let's test you as well. That does look kind of cool. So I might layer the two together just very slightly, although I'm not sure what I'd take from the first one. Maybe the fibers. Let's just grab you and drag you there. Yeah, that works for me. It's literally all I want. I seem to get the colors working for me now. So let's just go and delete this guy, because that grunge pass is unnecessary. Oh, we can't see it anyway. So let's just remove layer. And let's mask it first. So wood, matte. And let's color you as well. Let's go red. Cool. Add a black mask. And then how can I... There is a way to select certain meshes, right? It's kind of cool. Where's the option to how to use this though? Because I'm currently selecting individual phases and that's not what I want. I smell like it. What's this one? UV chunk. Don't want to do that. I do love how that's a feature. Cool, so now we need a metal, so let's just go to our shelf. Obviously we're going to be editing these a ton. Like, if you want to get a job in the industry, do not just drag smart materials and put them on your object, because that's a terrible, terrible idea. You want to, at very least, modify them. Kind of like what I did on the mask, where you take a basic setup, but then you basically change everything within it. The only thing that survived is the general structure. Or even then, if you like to be a texture artist, don't use smart materials at all. Like, you know, it's fine to use them a lot of the time, but at least learn how to make your own or how to paint things manually, because most of the job isn't using dragging smart materials. So just a disclaimer on that. Do not look at this and think, oh, that's how professionals do it, because it's not. I'm not a texture artist. I'm a lit dev artist now, but still. Right, so we need, wait, there's one missing. Oh, why did you not get selected? Let's just drag you. Smart material is, yeah, it's basically a pre-done material. All the hard work's been done for you, so it's not advisable to rely on them, at least for, you know, if you want to make a show reel. So I'm just trying to get my camera in the right place. Alright, okay, it's fine. Right, so we need a metal now, so let's go to shelf, smart materials, metal. So what could we use? We could use iron old, that might look cool. So let's just drag that over here. Yeah, they're easy to use and pretty high quality for the most part. So let's drag a mask on you. Add black mask. And then go back to you. There we go. Yeah, this is not how you get a job in the industry, just dragging and dropping these. I guess we can do these as well. Cool. Let's just make the background visible. Yeah, not too keen on that metal actually. So let's see what else there is. Steel, could be cool. Steel bright, no. Iron forged, maybe. We can always just copy paste the mask after. Is that better? Steel ruined. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh yeah, for Archviz, just drag and drop shit as you need. The difficulty in Archviz isn't the texturing; it's the it's getting everything to just look beautiful. It's getting the final image. It's not. I don't think anyone really cares how things are built as long as it works. Because you don't need an animation pipeline. Like, you don't need to worry the same way that VFX or animation do. Granted, you know, I'm not saying, oh yeah, in Archviz you can just grab a sculpt and decimate it and auto UV it and that's good enough. Because that's definitely not the case. But for basic stuff, I think it's fine. I think this works better. So let's delete you. Remove layers. Copy mask. Add black mask. Paste mask. So which one works better? That's what we gotta figure out now. I'm leaning towards this one. I can see some repeated textures, so I do need to kind of change that a bit. And I'll be obviously hand painting some stuff on top. Although I will be just exporting this pretty much straight out and testing it just to see how it looks. But currently it looks pretty bad. So cloth-wise, I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I'm tempted to not really texture it that much, to be honest. Just because I'm gonna build a lot of stuff in shader. So I'll be blocking out the basic color. Let's delete that one, done. Remove layers, there we go. I'm just gonna call this one metal matte. Give you a different color. Cool. And then I guess we'll just quickly add a cloth anyway. So let's go smart materials. Is there a smart material for cloth? Although technically I don't want smart materials, right? Fabric. Technically I don't want smart materials actually, because I don't want there to be shape sensitive stuff, because I'll be re-simulating this anyway. Fabric roof looks kind of cool. Fabric base, maybe not as much. Let's drag that there. That is not what I'm looking for. Fabric base. That looks interesting. Because I'm going to be adding all my own detail on top, so let's do that. Remove. Then create a black mask. In fact, I don't need to create a black mask actually, because it's got its own UDIM. So let's just go remove mask. Exclude all tiles and just drag that one. Cool, and then I need to exclude all tiles for these guys too, but then bring that in. The reason I'm doing that is so that it takes less time to calculate. Oh, I've missed a few messages. But that is more of a freelance niche where the wow factor one person can visualize exceeds the knowledge of how much. Thanks for the $1 awesome texture, yeah. You could get away with using substance stuff and movie productions to some extent. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been examples where people have literally just dragged and dropped presets and it's got into a film. I know of one, but obviously that's heavily NDA, so I'm not going to say what it is. But there are times when, like, very basic, and just for clarity, it wasn't something I saw at NPC, it's a story I've heard from elsewhere. But I'm not going to say it anyway. But yeah, like, shit like that does happen where people just drag and drop a material and it ends up getting approved. It's very, very rare, and probably only happens really for background assets. But it does happen. It has occurred. Right, so let's quickly fix this guy. Probably wants to do like a red. Very desaturated, dark red. Let's bring that roughness down. Is that color coming from you? Cool, right, so we only need to massively edit this now. So, wood mat. Let's go one thing at a time. So, this color needs to go much more desaturated and a bit darker. Maybe a little bit more saturated actually. There we go. Wood fibers, get those in. So this color's a bit too bright. Stuff like that is fine. Maybe saturate them up a little bit. I actually kind of like how the blue looks, but it's obviously very stylized, so I'm going to pull that back. Cool. Dust. Dust is only covering top. Not too keen on that. Do we have MG dust? So I'm going to swap this out for dirt. And let's use let's turn that off actually. Well, that's kind of cool. Dirt level. Just do something like that. Bring the grunge back up. Cool. Let's see if that's working for me now. Yeah, and then we can add another generator, which is for the dust. Which one was it? It's like world normals. World space? Yeah, world space normals. And for this one, oh god, I gotta remember how to use this now. Mask, right, okay, so how do I use you? Okay, so that's a general brightness, but how do I move it? Oh, there we go, yeah. Right, left, top, bottom. Yeah, so we just need this to be pretty much entirely top. Bring down the balance, just so it isolates the top. And then we're gonna need something to break that up completely. So let's use a texture. Grab a grunge like this one. And then it'd be great if you work. It's doing something. Is that using the texture to define what's up and down though? Or? So how are you working? Can you go into presets and change the texture resolution? You should be able to, but I don't know for sure. See, what I want to do is multiply this. So I guess this needs to change all of these are done in, right? So let's just set these to linear dodge. Linear dodge. And what I can do is, let's turn off texture. And just between these two, add a add a generator, I guess. Oh no, that should be add a fill. And then remove effect. Set you to multiply. I'm going to mult world norm. Cool, so let's hide that for a sec. This one needs to fill with a grunge. Again, let's see what else there is actually. That's kind of cool. Oh, that one's good. There we go. So they are together now. Because I'm multiplying only the results of what's below it, because this is obviously a stack. So I can kind of get that world normal, then multiply it with this guy. Change the opacity if I want that to be brighter. And then add the dirt around it. So now, let's check that dust. Yeah, that's working fine for me. Might still be a bit much overall, so I'm going to go into the color and just bring that opacity down a little bit. So it will still be changing the roughness as far as I'm aware. So base color is less affected, height, roughness, oh, roughness isn't really changing. Okay, so let's go into this. And let's just make it a little bit rougher than everything else. So let's find my roughness map. There we go. Oh, that's the opposite of what I want. Something like that. So that just makes it rougher wherever the dirt is. Cool. Then white stains. This white stain layer never looks good to me. So let's just bring it all the way down. And again, does it affect other channels? It does. I could keep it purely affecting it's a bit better for me. Roughness stains. Again, let's check you. What are you doing? Oh, that was the mask. I don't know why it's not a shortcut for mask. That looks interesting. That won't really show at most angles. Let's get the pattern in. So the pattern's where it all goes to shit, so I'll ignore that for a moment. Add the dust back in. This I'm going to pull back even more. And fibers, what are you doing? Ooh. So I need to change the balance of this one. See, the problem is, I don't like histograms. Especially ones that don't give me a range control. Let's just get the shapes that I want. I think that shape works okay. So then how well does... Okay, so let's just add that in subtly. I think I need to be a bit braver on that actually. There we go. And I kind of want to turn off the height for that because that's not working for me. Just turn that back on, but then have it not affect the height anymore. Cool, and then let's get pattern working. Pattern's the one that does most of the heavy lifting. So pattern. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I thought so. Right, so this will need to be hue shifted a little bit. Saturated a little bit more. Or not. That's barely doing much. Darken, no. Somewhere like that. Then the pattern we need to change. So knots, let's reduce those. So we have to change the size of the knots. See, what we need to do now is a like per plank color variation. So kind of love how quick you are. I still move a lot slower. I've been doing this for 8 years now. In fact, it was actually 8 years this week, come to think of it. Yeah, 8 years this week, fuck. Oh, that's disgusting. It might have been last week though, because I started in September 2012, and strictly speaking I started in 2008, but that's like on a very like technically started 2008 because I picked up Euphoria, Endorphin animation, did like a few months playing about with that when I was 13. So don't worry about the fact that I'm quicker, because it's a given. I've been doing it for longer. Granted, there are people who've been doing it much less time than me who like put me to shame, and there's people who've been doing it way longer who also put me to shame. So time doesn't really mean much, but as a given, most people as they work longer will get quicker. So let's get into that color, because I want to reduce the color in this guy. So it's acting as a multiply set to 80, so that's a bit much for my taste. So let's go to like there. And let's just compare this to what it was before. So if I just quickly drag, let's go smart materials. Which one was it again? Wood. Was it old ship? Yeah, it was this one, wasn't it? Let's compare those. So yeah, when I say it's important to kind of go through and edit a texture, this is what I mean. It's like, this doesn't suit my asset at all. And I've barely done any work, but this looks a lot better for what I'm doing. Still not perfect by any stretch, but it's really important to modify your textures. Like, do not get a... never ever pick up a smart material and be like, that's good enough, because it's never going to be good enough.
It's a big thing that we always, I've always heard people speaking about rails. You know, whenever you're
Can you guys hear Becca?
Please tell me you can hear me.
It looks like they can. You'll just be quite quiet.
One of the big issues that we see with a lot of reels and stuff is people saying, oh, I want you to look dead, but all they do is slap a smart material on, and then they expect that to be it done.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't be that person. But it's like, yeah, Becca, I literally like 15 minutes, 10 minutes of just tweaking a material.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not as easy, because again, I've been doing this for a while. Not specifically Substance. I'm pretty new to Substance, but I know the fundamentals of texturing.
But you don't. It sounds really, really stupid. You don't, with those materials, you don't really. For example, what I like to do, and it was before I really even understood looked at, was I used to open the materials, like the smart materials, go to the, like, open the entire folders, turn everything off.
That's what I just did, yeah.
Yeah, and then I go through, start adding, thinking, trying to figure out what, because there was things like generators and stuff I never really understood until, like, not even that recently, to be honest. It was like, it was like a couple months ago. But even then, I was like able to maybe try and hash tweak things, or if I didn't understand what it was doing, I just removed it because there's no point keeping it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like, it's such a simple step to take, just to quickly, bash stuff together. I'm going to create a fill layer, and I'm going to have this be a multiply. And all I'm going to do, oh Jesus, let's not do that. Multiply just the color. And the way I'm going to set this up is, I need it to be a paint layer actually. Well, I guess I could add a black mask and paint the mask. Yeah, let's do that. So fill layer, plank, coal, mult. Cool. So that's multiplying to white. That's fine. Let's add a. Well, we need to multiply the black for this workflow to work. Cool. And that's just a spec on its own. It was quite interesting. Not great, but interesting at least. So let's get a black mask into that. And then in our mask, add a paint. And then actually, is there a generator that automatically adds variation per object? UV random. Oh, that's going to be per UV cut, which isn't what I want. And also barely does anything. I mean, it does something, but it works, but it's not doing what I want, so I'm going to remove that. And all I'm going to do is just use that nice and dandy tool we had before, and I'm going to set you to be darker, maybe not that much. Oh yeah, wrong way. And all I want to do is just subtly change the colors of these guys, just so each plank is slightly different. Also, let's go into a mask. So, and we are going to add a mask on top of that just to get a little bit more broad scale variation. Most of it we want to be close to 0. So there's a very subtle difference between all of them. So now if we go into the color channel, see how much of a difference that makes? Like, it's one of those things, like, most people don't give a shit, but I feel like if it's a separate piece, it needs to have different properties from the other pieces. So how do you go about being an artist working for a company and you want to pick up new software package? Depends on the company. When I was in Prevas, we were happy to use whatever we wanted. So MPC Prevas, obviously they have set tools for stuff that I'm not going to go into, but if I wanted to use a new software and like I can give a good enough reason for it, yeah, sure, just use it. We had a ton of different softwares. Like we had, I probably wouldn't be exaggerating with hundreds, like tools for fucking everything. And if I decided, oh, I don't want to use this tool to do this specific task, because the tasks are very open-ended. It's like, oh, just go and make seaweed, random object. Go and make seaweed. All right, well, I could use XGen to make seaweed. I could use Houdini. I could use SpeedTree. I could use whatever I wanted. So in Prevas, you're very free to do what you want. And if they don't have the software, then yeah, you probably shouldn't ask to buy one because you got enough options anyway. But still, in film, it's a lot more rigid generally. So if you want to experiment with new packages, then it's best just to go home and do it. And then I guess on top of that, Blue Zoo, I've not been there long enough to say anything about using new softwares, but as with most studios, like there is an established pipeline. So you want to stay within the softwares that are usually used by the company. There's not much more depth to it. I mean, 99% of companies will want you to use a specific set of tools, unless it's like a side project. So there's not really much more I can say about that, really, and not even much more to say about that.
Yeah, it seems to be like, from what I kind of gathered, like speaking to people who work at different kind of not move like film studios, but like smaller studios. They seem to use like, you know, say if there is like, for example, whenever Houdini became big, you know, like a smaller studio was like, maybe we should look into this or whatever. They normally do like an R&D project.
Yeah.
You know, or it could be like, I don't know, like a short film. It could be like, you know, like a 30-second animation. You know what I mean? Something like small to see what it could do. Then to record their findings, and then either park it or have it in the background, or then start to implement it. You know, like the next projects and stuff they do.
Yeah. So let's add a grunge. This one's going to be a stupidly low frequency, even a purlin noise. Don't want a 3D purlin though. That one will do. And this one's just adding on top. So let's set that to, well, let's just quickly go to the mask. So we don't want that.
Try to find like character designs for girls.
Girls.
Or not girls, like you know, like outfits, because obviously the whole thing now, a big thing is like, you know, like girls they don't want like little pink, you know what I mean? Outfits, a lot of broadcasters and stuff, don't like seeing, you know, the stereotypical colours.
Is it a way for me to grade this?
That's really funny. I'm like, I keep getting like adverts for like girl clothing now, and it's like 60 whatever, and it's like, no.
Let's set this to add. And let's set you to normal. Actually, I should set you to multiply. No. So let's multiply you. God, how... Is there a way for me to assign levels just to this? I can assign it to the final result, but I'm not keen on doing that. What's the correct way to use you then? Oh, that's disable. Divide. Inverse divide. Darken. Oh wait, is there a min max? So I don't want to change overall values, I just want to add some very subtle variation. That might do. Right. So let's leave that like that for now. So let's just quickly save you. No. That autosave is wrong. Oh, it's different date. Okay, cool. So let's just go back to texturing, prop box, substance files, props. Use your free time at home to learn new software. Oh yeah, definitely. Sounds like Wellington is flying over London. Yeah, there's some super fucking loud sounds outside sometimes. Right, metal I'm not sure what I want to do on. I kind of want to get a bit of rust.
Did I ever tell you that about the time that I really liked, or as a kid, my mum, or I always drew snails?
Drew snails?
Yeah.
I mean, snails are pretty cool. I'll give you that.
My mum used to have like folders and folders of drawings that I did as a kid, and they were all snails.
Any particular reason you like them?
No, and I think it's because I saw like an Art Attack series where the guy made us draw a snail, and I was like, I want to draw that. So like I still remember how to do it as well. It's like, you know, like the little swirly swoopy thing.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm trying to find a friggin' kids designs for jumpers, and they're all really boring. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give her I'm doing like loads of different designs, and like, what did I like as a child? Snails.
I had to import my. Is it this one? Import resources. Add resources.
Color for a snail.
What, sorry?
Find a nice color for a snail.
Did you know that you guys have the most known World War II airplane shows? No, I didn't actually.
What is it?
Apparently we have the most well-known World War II airplane shows.
We live near a Spitfire factory.
Wait, do we?
Yeah.
That's cool. Didn't know about that. Okay, so let's go through layer by layer on this metal. So see the base. Base already has quite a lot in it, which is always annoying. Stains, yeah, it's fine. Dirt I might tweak a little bit. Let's just quickly save. Is that curvature? So I'm going to change the size of this guy. Where's the UV? Why isn't there a control for the fucking scale of this thing? Okay, let's just... I don't like the fucking mass builders. Dare level, pull that back. It's a bit strong, doesn't it? Constantly turning your light is really important, by the way, guys. So, this is in case anyone is unfamiliar with texturing and good workflow. Well, when you're working on metals, constantly changing your light is really helpful. I'm going to change the scale of this guy. So 4 is the current scale. Edges. That's just polishing up edges, right? So we can turn off height because you're irrelevant. Metallic, well, you're not changing, are you? And metal edge work, let's just increase. Smoothness is how you grow that in. That's not what I wanted. I'm not using triplanar anyway, but still. Can I reduce the contrast, see what that does? So I'm going to reduce the roughness as well. Oh, increase the roughness, sorry. It's a little bit too smooth. Cool. Then we've got sharpen, which is doing what exactly? Am I limited by... It's possible I'm limited by resolution right now. No, it's doing nothing. Alright, cool. Well, I guess I can just delete that then. I tend not to use sharpen layers anyway. So let's remove that. So the color of the box isn't working for me anymore. I think it needs to be a bit more desaturated again. There we go. So I think the cloth works as like a desaturated red. So let's just save that out. I will be going back in and painting some stuff, but for now I just want to get all this working. So
I'm gonna head to bed. My head's quite sore. Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to end the stream a bit early?
It's okay.
Okay. Okay, just let me know when you want to go sleep, okay? I'll end the stream when you want to go sleep.
I'm gonna get in bed.
Yeah, but you're not going to go sleep straight away, right?
Well,
Okay, well let me know if you want me to start the stream, yeah? Okay. StickyMonsters template.
Noodles.
Pins and needles. That's not good. StickyMonsters template. PNG because TIFF keeps breaking for me, which is annoying because...
There's something to do with Tiff and Arnold.
Oh really?
Yeah, definitely. Because we've had a can't render. There's something to do with render and Tiff as well.
Right. Oscar says good night.
Bye bye.
StickyMonsters, scenes, texturing, prop box, texture exports, go there. 8 bits, fine, export. Cool. So, let's go in, and for now let's just connect up everything. Oh, the cloth pins. I need to set those to be something else. Alright, I'll come back to that. Let's get cloth pins too. Assign a new material. Surface. You okay? I had really numb legs yesterday from sitting in this chair for so long.
Yeah.
If we lived in a room with more space and a fully wooden floor, I'd probably have like a nice office chair by now. But
tomorrow, would you mind assisting me as I start to explore character modeling?
sure, yeah, I can teach you some character modeling. It's quite convenient having a boyfriend who like does exactly what it is you want to do. File. So color, base color. Scenes, texturing, prop box, texture exports, base color. UV tiling, set to UDIM. Cool. Then create another file, texture. And I'm just going to use the standard setup that he likes to use, so let's go with metalness. I personally don't like the metalness workflow, but so be it. Texture. Also, this needs to be a raw. Cool. Height. Let's go with roughness actually.
You see my new jumper?
Cute. Is that one you got today?
It's got the little flowers on it.
Spec rough. File. Almost there. What else have we got? Normal, which I'm ignoring, so height is the next one. And this one again is a raw data type. So you see UDIM, AI bump, bump map, And no idea if the default strength is good enough. I normally increase it a bit. So that's everything plugged in. Let's call this box map. Cool, so getting all the render open. Let's set you to perspective and start a render. Give it a moment to do its thing. Fusion 360, if you don't mind the subscription, love Fusion. Fusion's pretty cool. I don't personally use it, but I know it's pretty decent. Lightwave though. There we go, that's working. What's up?
Would you give me a water bottle? I don't need it now.
I can make a whole bottle, yeah, no problem. Right, so that's that blocked out. So this is where I suck as an artist, right? So getting all the colors to work well together is not what I'm good at, like, at all. So I'm gonna need to do multiple passes, getting all this stuff working. I feel like I should probably set up color spaces. I'm not gonna do that in this stream just because it's a lot to do. But yeah, but hey, we have a box. I need to simulate the cloth at the front opening up, but it's a thing. View, is there a luminance? Luma value. The value's about right. So it's too saturated compared to everything else in the scene anyway. So let's pull everything else back. Oh, I can close this now. Cancel. Oh yeah, I need to kill this. Alright, I'm pretty sure I saved. Right, so let's get into substance. Let's grab that. Desaturate it even more. Cool. File, export textures. That moment to do its thing. Did that update? I can't tell. I think it did. So let's switch to render cam. So this is the camera that actually has depth of field on it. I feel like the difference per plank needs to be a bit more exaggerated. See how this looks on close-up though. So let's kill that. So one of the renders and one of the angles I'm going to render is something like this. let's see how that reads. Oh yeah, it's completely out of focus. And visually it reads. I look forward to putting all the hair on this. That's where it's going to start looking cool, I think, when I start getting all the hair like draping down from this thing. You prefer CAD as solid body or joint surfaces? I don't really use CAD software, to be honest, mate. I'd have already loaded the model into MD, reset the cloth, but it's really something that can wait until all the way to the end. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be blocking out all the textures and then quickly quickly rig and pose this guy, simulate the clothing into pose, just with end cloth. I don't need to do anything else. And then I'm going to just simulate like quick hacky simulation for these as well. I'm going to add a bit more per plank variation. I think that's really needed. So let's go to this guy, view the mask, and go to you. Just get a little bit more. That doesn't work. Once I've done this, I'll start doing some proper edge wear, like really strong edge wear. Yeah, so basically, well, technically textures are always referenced. So referenced versus imported. Basically, imported is when it is stored in your scene file. So updating, whatever else doesn't update your scene. So an object in your scene doesn't get updated unless you're referencing it. The thing with textures is they're kind of always being referenced because you load them in with a file node, and that file node is just a path. It doesn't actually store the texture in your scene. It's just telling Maya where to look for the texture. So if you update that texture, it's going to update every time. So I need to, let's store a snapshot. View, store snapshot. Cool. And then let's just do another render. We may need to update scene. Update full scene. Update full scene will reconvert the TX files. I need to learn how to update individual text files, because otherwise towards the end of the project this is going to get intense. Granted, you don't normally look dev everything in the final scene, but it's easier, so that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, so now we've got that darker version. That might be a bit too dark now. So it's less than that a bit. Well, it kind of works in some ways. I'm going to pull it back though. And then once I pull that back, let's just go into U. There you go, stuff like that. So let's add a edgeware onto this guy. Let's just create a fill. This fill will be in just color and roughness. Roughness will be cranked up, something like there. And then all we need to do is wood, edge, where, add a black mask, add a generator. Where are you? Let's just do metal edges again. Oh, that's fiberglass. That's not what I want. Although we can probably get it to work. Let's swap that out for a different one. Let's go with metal edges. And then let's just turn down the grunge. Grunge scale. And in this color, we could just have this as a, oh, not a multiply. Divide wouldn't work either. What can we do for that? Overlay? No. Screen? You could always just set it to be a color as well. Let's just do that. Normal. Cool. File, export textures. But yeah, I'll be ending the stream in about 10 minutes, guys. So, got that. Let's just save a new version, save as. Cool, that's that done. A bit of edgeware in there now. There's a lot of hand texturing to do, but that gets the general idea across. So let's very briefly set up a cloth sim for this guy. Oh, not cloth sim, sorry, cloth material. So assign new material. Let's go with a AI standard, as everything is. Base color, plug you in. Then let's just turn spec roughness up all the way, add a sheen. we need a lot more general colour variation on him and the hat and that sort of stuff. Well, he kind of works, so I don't really want to fuck with him too much. Then I guess there's the argument to be made of, like, just because he works in isolation doesn't mean he should be that way. I think he just needs more contrast. Save the scene. Pull him down into frame. You know, I need some more aggressive breakup on this. For sure. And let's get that edge. Yeah, it's quite a lot of texturing to do. I don't like the metalness workflow, so I'll probably switch to making a separate shader for the metal. I prefer to use IOR, it's generally a lot nicer. Although I can use a metalness map just to drive the IOR. That's no big deal. Right, yeah, let's quickly set that up just so we get nicer results, because the metal doesn't feel right to me. So let's grab this guy. So this is box. Let's call this box wood. And edit, duplicate, or let me save. So I don't know if duplicate will do what I want here. And actually let's save incremental as well. Cool. Edit, duplicate, and I want to see if it brings a network with it, with connections to the network. Perfect. So I could do all that in one shader. Where's this? This one's metalness. Alright, this is metalness. So let's get a set range. Old min was 0, new min. Old min was 1, so I want. What's the IOR? IOR of wood is around 1.5. So let's go into specular 1.5, that's fine. So let's set old min, max to 1.5 and set U to 2.4. Plug U into the value and get the IOR specular. Where's specular IOR? Is it not there? Okay, let's drag you in. Value X, specular IOR. So now what we can do is disconnect it from metalness. And go to metalness. You are set to 0, that's good. something of interest to it. I think something we need to do as well actually is get some displacement on there. So let's throw on a super low frequency disp. I'm going to delete you for now. Displacement shader. Oh, which one are you? You're the cloth, right? Yeah, the cloth. Let's create a AI noise. Too much. So let's go back. I think 30 was working well. And just decrease that a bit. That adds a little bit more character to the shape. There we go. Right, I'm going to end the stream, guys. Yeah, hope you guys are having a good night. And I'll be streaming again on Tuesday as normal. So hopefully see you guys then. We'll be continuing with the texturing on the box. Maybe revisit texturing on his face, and we definitely need to work on the clothes at some point. There's a lot of texturing to do. But generally speaking, shading is almost at a point where we can kind of move on from it just to do some other stuff for a while. Probably rigging the character, to be honest, just because that's the thing that's most out of my comfort zone. But yeah, so I'm just going to end the stream here, guys. But enjoy the rest of your night, and hopefully see you on Tuesday. Bye bye.